Hey guys, I am pre-recording this video because I've not been able to get on live. We live out in the country and our internet is just, it says no. I wanted to jump on today and just make sure I got this video out to you because first of all, I think that a lot of people are just unsure about essential oils just for the fact that it sounds voodoo, or they don't really know anybody personally who's had these experiences. It's just things that they've read online, and then once you get online and start looking at information, it just becomes overwhelming. And so I just really wanted to share a little bit about our testimony with essential oils. Now today I'll only be sharing one of very multiple testimonies, because really this video would probably be about an hour long if I showed you everything that we used and told you about all the wonderful things they've done for our family. So as I was thinking back on which oil and which testimony I really wanted to share with you guys today, it really got me to thinking about the fact that I need to share with you kind of why we started to begin with. I've always kind of dabbled with essential oils here and there and been interested in them, but was really just like, I don't know. You know, we would use them here and there. I've always had them in the house for the last 2 or 3 years. No, not necessarily a name brand. Honestly, I've never really spent a whole lot of money on oils. And then whenever Rose came along, being as little as she was, I was extremely apprehensive on using oils around her because there's so many things out there that tell you that essential oils are not safe for little ones. And I didn't want to do anything to cause her any harm, and so I literally shelved our oils until she got older, until she was over 2 years old, and then shortly after that she became sick. And so but prior to that, I was actively trying to use them and trying to bring them into our daily lives. I had went with a smaller brand that was more affordable for me to kind of get into them, so that way I could build my experience and kind of learn with them. And so whenever I really got to thinking in the last couple of months, we had several health issues come up that were, you know, I was really not okay with going and seeking just pharmaceutical meds to take care of everything. I wanted a natural solution that would be healthy for us for long-term use, because if I've learned anything with Rose's experience is there's a time and a place for pharmaceutical meds, but there's also that discernment that you need to use when it comes to using them. You need to educate yourself and know. I think I will be the first to tell you, my daughter would not be here today if it was not for pharmaceutical meds. So I'm telling you, there is a place for them. They are a blessing. God created an amazing intelligence for people to be able to create these medications, and I believe that He uses them to bless us. And so I'm not at all saying that no, you should never take any pharmaceutical meds. I just think that when you have situations arise, that you need to take a step back and think, okay, is there something I can do that is more natural before I go and I take a chemical based pharmaceutical medication that could probably have some kind of long-term effect, and more than likely it will. If you really get to looking into them, they may fix one problem, but a lot of times they will create another problem in your body. And so as we were really working on Rose's medications and I was educating myself on how they were affecting her system, we were weaning her off as much as possible so that her other organs could be sustained and be healthy as long as possible. So I really dove into really just learning the functions of the body and learning just the different side effects and things that some of these medications can have. And so as I was doing that, of course, through this process, our life has been pretty chaotic for the last 18 months. We've really gone through some roller coasters of emotions, and it's been quite stressful. We've given God the glory for it, and we praise Him each and every day, and we've continued to have joy through it all. But through that, I have never struggled with anxiety or depression or anything like that before in my life. I've been a very positive, optimistic person, and I still am. But in the last 8 months, I really kind of felt a shift in me. I really think the aftershock of everything that we went through with almost losing her and then adjusting to life with a very, special needs child, just the toll and the stress of everything was just really starting to wear on me. And so I started feeling the anxiety first. it would be a time in the day when nothing would be bothering me. I wouldn't have anything to be causing it, and I would just feel overly anxious. And I already have a little bit of high blood pressure and high heart rate and things like that going on, so a little bit of anxiety plugged in with that, it was not good at all. And so as I was starting to feel those things, I also noticed signs of depression, and it was nothing severe, nothing compared to what I know a lot of people probably suffer with on a daily basis. But I just started picking up on the signs and symptoms, and I was talking to a few friends of mine and just kind of sharing with them, you know, the things that were taking place and how I was feeling. And of course they were all just so supportive and was like, there's nothing wrong with going and getting put on medication, and it will help you through this season. And I knew all of that. And so, but at the same time, even as kind of I was feeling worse and worse as the time went on, I still did not, I have a very, very high sensitivity to medications as it is. And so I was not comfortable with just going in and getting put on something, because some days are not good, they're not happy, they're not the most joyful occasions, but I don't ever want to be in a situation to where I'm not feeling what our reality is. I want to feel and live and make sure that I'm in the moment, every moment, because we know firsthand that tomorrow is not promised. So I don't want to be in a position to where I am medicated and I'm not able to feel and process what our reality is, no matter what it is. I want to be able to be joyous. I want to be able to be happy. I want to be able to just really, really, truly enjoy the good times. But I also want to be able to process the not so good times, because it's healthy to be able to do that. And I'm not saying to not get put on medication if you're in that situation to where you feel like you need a little bit of help. But I would encourage you to possibly consider an alternative before you did that. So that's where our journey started, as far as me just really wanting to get serious again. That was just one of the situations that fueled it. We have a couple other ones, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So as I was looking for a more natural alternative situation for myself, I really got to realize, and we have several other situations within our family that I also wanted to see. So when I made up my mind that I was going to go all in and really give essential oils a try, and I was skeptic about whether or not they were going to actually work for us and work for our family, but I'm the type of person, I'm not going to take somebody else's opinion for it, and I'm not going to knock it until I give it a wholehearted try. So Zeb and I sat down and we really talked about it, and I got to looking at pricing and things like that, and we knew that it was going to be an investment to start off. And it is. And so I said, okay, well, we're going to make a list of goals. And I encourage every single person who is considering essential oils to sit down and do this. You need to make a goal list of what you want essential oils to do for you. Because if you go into this thinking, well, I just want to see what essential oils can do for me, then you're going to be overwhelmed. The benefits are beyond, like seriously, you will be overwhelmed and you will not know where to start, because it's limitless. It really is. And so I really, really encourage you that if you're sitting there today and you're thinking about starting with essential oils, sit down and make a list. If you're dealing with migraines, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with ADHD, whatever it may be, make you a list. And so that way when you go into this, you know what you want essential oils to do for you. And that's exactly what we did. We sat down, and I'll go ahead and share our list with you, and I will be making more and more videos sharing our testimony. I will share the good, and I'll share the not so good, and I'll tell you what's worked and what's not worked so far. And so the number one thing was, first of all, to get me back where I needed to be, because I'm solo parenting for 14 days out of the month, being an oilfield wife, and then I have 4 children. We homeschool, having a special needs child. I really needed my health to be back where it should be, so that way I could run our home smoothly and the way that it should be run. And everybody knows if mama's not happy, then nobody's happy. And so I was tired of feeling grumpy and tired and anxious and having all of those not so good feelings. And so anyway, I made our list. The first one was to take care of my anxiety and depression. And I'll stop right there for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and share this little piece with you guys because it is a huge part of our testimony, and I've not shared this with a whole lot of people. But on top of the anxiety and the depression, I was suffering from night terrors. It had started probably back in about September, and I was waking up in the middle of the night in a sweat and literally crying, thinking Rose had died. And she would be healthy and breathing and in her bed at the foot of our bed, or even when we transitioned her into her bedroom, I could hear the baby monitor. I see the monitor, you know, with her pulse ox machine, but I would literally wake up and just be completely in a terror, thinking she had passed away on us. I woke Zeb up several times because I couldn't get myself out of bed to be able to go check on her myself. The fear was that debilitating, and it happened once or twice to start off with, and then it started happening on a more regular basis. And so on top of the anxiety and the depression, I started having a little bit of night terrors. And I think that goes along with the PTSD type symptoms. I've never been diagnosed by a physician. This is just what I know is taking place within me. And I've done my own research and educating myself as much as possible so that I could help myself get better. And so those started happening. And at that point, it just wasn't okay anymore. I knew I needed to do something. And so at the very top of our list was mine. It was my anxiety, depression, and possibly a little bit of PTSD. And then, if anyone knows Zeb, and y'all have known him for any amount of time, he is ADHD. Bless his heart. It is something that he has dealt with early on in his childhood. He's always had to be on some type of medication if he's going to be in a classroom environment. Or like now, he is 35 years old and had to be on ADHD medication just so he can focus to get his computer work done and his paperwork done while he's at work, just so that he can focus and be able to get those things done. And also, he has been on anxiety medication for about 14 years now. And a little bit about that is, more than likely, if you've suffered from ADHD as a child and you've been on medication for long term, it depletes the brain's ability to create a certain enzyme that controls anxiety. So his anxiety started very early, probably about 20 or 21 years old. And he kind of let it go for a little while, and he finally got on medication. And he's been on medication. He's been on Lexapro for 14 years now. And the thought of the long-term issues that medication has probably caused in other ways, I just don't even want to think about it all. So, of course, his ADHD and his anxiety was at the top of my list also. On top of that, Rose's GI health. First of all, God has done amazing things there. We're not near about where we were even 6 months ago with her GI. He has blessed her. He has healed her in so many ways. But the fact of it is she is considered a CP patient, a cerebral palsy patient, because she is non-mobile and just her brain function and things like that. And so she's not active. She can't move. And so because of that, her digestive tract is a little bit slower. She does tend to become a little bit more bellyachy than the normal child. And so just being able to give her something to help with that, because God has done so much already, I definitely did not want to medicate and take away from what God has already done. And so I wanted a natural resource to go to for us to be able to help alleviate that. So that was on my list. And then that we had a few more that were small and minor. I would probably say those were our top 3 going into it. So once I had that list made, I went into it and purchased our starter kit, and then purchased a few extra oils to go along with it that would support what our needs were going into all of this. And so we received them at the end of December, and we actively started using oils on a regular basis. I right away got onto diffusing. We had one diffuser already that I had purchased before, and then I went ahead and got 2 more. So we have 3 diffusers in our house. And another thing that we were really shooting for was just an immunity boost for our family, just to be able to keep our family healthy this year and for us to not end up back in the hospital with Rose. So the diffusers were a must all throughout my house to make sure that we kept everybody as healthy as possible. And then I got to work on making roller balls and really making sure that our daily use of oils was where it needed to be, because I was willing to put them to the test, and I would be sitting here today and telling you they did not work if they did not work. I have no reason to not, you know. And so I went into this with a very kind of skeptical mind, because I was like, okay, I'm going to give this just a try. And I remember sitting on the couch and telling Zeb, I'm going to give this 60 days. If I don't see that it's helping in 60 days, I will go get on medication. And so that was my mind frame going into it. I'm going to give it a hardcore 60 days using these on a regular basis. And so the testimony I'm really going to dive into today and share with you guys is what I like to call my Crazy Mama rollerball. You see this little gem right here? Even my kids call it the Crazy Mama rollerball. So this is what I started with. Knowing that my hormones were out of balance, that was another issue that I was having. PMS symptoms were horrible. They really were. My poor husband, seriously, bless his heart. So my hormones were out of balance, so I searched for an oil that would help with that. Clary Sage is a gold mine if you have hormone issues. And then I just really wanted something to help with the anxiety part of it, and DoTerra has their own blend called Balance. And so I literally went through and I was like, okay, these are my symptoms, these are the oils that will help with them. And I started pulling and making my list based off of that. So when I got my oils in, I have a concoction of a bottle. I didn't follow anybody else's recipe. I pulled these oils that I knew were, you know, supposedly to help with my symptoms that I was having. So my roller bottle is made up of 5 different oils, and I will actually link or put down in the comments below the exact recipe and how I create this roller ball. But I use Clary Sage, which is the hormone balancer. I use Balance, which is the doTerra's actual in-house blend. That is a grounding blend that's supposed to be calming. Frankincense, which is like the all of all oils. I mean, it was good enough for the Messiah, so I think it's pretty good for me. Lavender, which lavender is a calming. It helps with, it has so many wonderful benefits to it. But it also, and this is, I've gotten a few comments here recently. They stink. Oils stink. And no, not all oils smell good. So lavender in this roller bottle really was kind of for me to kind of help, you know, make it smell a little bit better. But it also has a lot of wonderful benefits in and of itself. And then Vetiver. Vetiver is for focus. It is the #1 recommended oil for focus and ADHD and any issues like that. And of course, with everything else going on and then how much I already have on my plate, focus is really needed. I needed focus just to be able to get things done. And so that is the 5 oils that make up my roller bottle. I have used this roller bottle every single day, up to 4 times a day. I apply as needed. My kids will even ask me if I need my roller ball. It's that bad. I don't leave the house without it. It goes wherever I go. I went on a trip to Georgia to see my parents, and I packed my roller ball. I go to homeschool co-op, I pack my roller ball. So it literally travels and goes everywhere with me, and it gets used on a very, very regular basis. And I have to say, I have seen major improvements. I have not had a night terror since January. So I'm about a month and a half, I would say, completely without any night terrors. I slowly started to see that I wasn't as anxious and as pent up. And with the depression, I no longer had that overwhelming feeling of I just want to go to bed and I just want to sleep. And just not that drugged down type feeling. And I just started feeling better. I really honestly started feeling better. I was feeling more like myself again. Home situation really had not changed a whole lot. I have to say Rose's done really well in the last several months, but even before I started using essential oils, it was still that case. So we've not had any drastic in-house changes or anything other than the fact that we have used essential oils every single day. And then I think the biggest telltale sign was this past month. My poor husband, like I said before, the PMS symptoms had gotten pretty bad, and I had, of course, had already been into my cycle. I know this is probably TMI for some, but I think that is very important because we've all been there. And so I had already been into my cycle for about 4 days, and my husband said I had no idea, like no idea. And usually the week before, the irritability, the extreme mood changes, the just feeling like you have 27 balls up in the air and they're all falling down on your head, just everything, all those not so good feelings, the major fatigue, that has been huge for me. It was gone. I had no PMS symptoms this last month, none. And my energy level did not bottom out. I usually used to have like 1 or 2 days where I did pretty much nothing. And that's not been the case for the last 2 months. I have felt, and I see that the longer that I use them, the better I feel. So if you're out there and you're looking for a more natural solution for some health issues like this, I encourage you to stop. I want you to do your own research. I don't want you to take my word, some other YouTube, videos word, and don't even take one company's word for it. I will say that if you are starting your journey with essential oils and you really want to see what they're going to do for you, I encourage you to make sure that you invest in a good quality oil. All oils are not created equal. And I just encourage you to really just kind of do your research on that. I would say that there's 2 really, really good companies that make good therapeutic oils. And just do your research and follow your heart on which company you feel comfortable going with. Of course, I am with doTerra, and I absolutely am loving this company. I'm loving their products. We are living their products on a daily basis. So this is just number 1 of the testimonies that I'll be sharing with you guys on what these essential oils are doing for us. I plan to hopefully be able to get about 1 testimony up a week, so if you'll just be patient with me. Some weeks it may have to be pre-recorded like this. I really hope to be able to go live and do a little bit more live videos, but that may take me having to be away from the house, and being a mom of 4 kids, that's just not always practical. And so I may have to do more of these type of videos. I hope y'all don't mind. If I can help you, get started, if you just want to talk through things and kind of figure out exactly where you're wanting the oils to help at in your life, if you're wanting to kind of get started and get on the right track and knowing which oils to pick and choose to start off with, what benefits, I will help you pull research. I don't know everything. I am definitely learning. Actually, I'm learning and pulling oils into our life every single day, even more. I'm building our collection. I'm literally just, there's so much to learn about them. They're absolutely amazing. And so as I'm learning, I have this overwhelming feeling to just be able to share with others, to just be able to get the word out. I think that a lot of people think that essential oils can be a little bit voodoo kind of, or something from the past. And I think that's just a society thing. And so I'm just here to encourage you guys. I just wanted to share this testimony with you and just share what they've done for us. This is not my thing to make videos, so it's probably not the best quality. I probably said probably 47,000 times, but I hope that you guys don't mind at all. There I go again. I will I'll have my phone with me throughout the day. So if you guys have some questions, just feel free to message me. Any question is fair game. Trust me, I've been in the beginner boat of not knowing where to start, not knowing really a whole lot about essential oils, and I think that that's where my passion is coming from right now, is I really just want to be able to reach out and help other people. So just message me and let's see what oils can do for you today. And I really hope that you got something from this video. I hope that it was an encouragement to you, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank you.